SOL, same old Lions, not so fast, my friend.
Jumped out to a 22-0 lead. That is winning football.
And they control the game from start to finish.
This looks like a group of guys that are hungry.
Yeah.
This looks like a group of guys that fight for each other.
When I watched them, I didn't feel like I was watching my old team. I'm like, nah, that's not my team. No way they look that good.
Yesterday, the Lions played winning football. Last week, Dan Campbell said, you know what, you got to clean up the mistakes. Got to clean up the mistakes. They had 5 drops, bunch of penalties, couple turnovers. Yesterday, they cleaned up those mistakes, Braylon Edwards. No turnovers, 2 penalties. Jumped out to a 22-0 lead. That is winning football. They got punched in the mouth in the second half. And instead of what so many people are used to around here, the Lions folding, they punched back. Amon-Ra St. Brown on the end around really kind of set the tone back in the Lions' momentum. And it was a win, man. And it felt good from start to finish. We talk so negatively as a whole, not us, but as a whole about these Detroit Lions. Gosh darn it, man. They played winning football yesterday and deserved that W.
Yeah, winning football, no turnovers. Obviously, they had 2. They only had 2 penalties. They only had no interceptions, no turnovers, 1 drop, 2 penalties. Like, they played championship football. This is the first time, Ryan and Maz, where I watched the Detroit Lions game and they control the game from start to finish. Now, many people want to come out and talk about the second half, and we will get to that in terms of giving up that many points in the second half, 27 to be exact. We'll get to that. But they still controlled the tempo of the game. Washington Commanders were playing from behind the whole game. Even when the Lions, you're like, uh-oh, SOL, same old Lions, not so fast, my friend. They made the plays when it counted. They kept control of the game. That's what you want to see. That's winning football. You beat a team that had a pretty good offense. Look, Carson Wentz went from, he still passed for over 300 yards. Jahan Dotson got in the end zone.
He's good.
He's damn good. You talked about him, as when we were getting to the draft, he was your low-key wide receiver that you liked in the first round. Kudos to you and that Penn State wide receiver. But they still controlled the tempo. They showed you they could do. Walt Harris makes an interception. They played underman. How many guys in that game, for lack of a better word, how many guys didn't play in that game? And they still rose. They still overcame. Good to see the Detroit Lions. They even got JB over there drinking the Kool-Aid. Because I wouldn't see you wearing no Detroit Lions stuff last week. I saw everything but Detroit. But now he's got the Detroit Lion hat on and the shirt. Played good football. Some things to clean up. But shout out to Aidan Hutchinson. You drafted him 2 overall. You asked him to show up. My God, he definitely showed up.
Just took the words out of my mouth. I was going to say, don't forget about our number 1 pick. 3 sacks, 5 hurries, bunch of tackles.
And wasn't completely healthy.
Welcome to the NFL. Yeah, he was limping at the end of that game. Pretty bad. And I really liked how who came and reached out to him? Carson Wentz at the end of that game. Came and found him and tapped him on the shoulder, turned around and gave him a big handshake and congratulations. That was classy by Carson Wentz.
It's going to go a long way in his, I keep using the word membrane. I don't know where I got that from. I just left the golf course, so maybe that's on my mind, thinking about overthinking shots. But that's going to be in his membrane a long time. He's going to reach out and think back and say, hey, man, that guy that was a veteran, a guy that went to a Super Bowl, that guy came, sought me out after game. Whatever I'm doing, I got to keep doing it and then add something to it.
You know what it looked like to me, too, yesterday, guys, was just flat out they looked like an NFL football team. They looked like a good NFL football team, and it's something we have not been able to say about these guys for a long time. They didn't get their first win last year until December 5th. December 5th.
Wow.
That's when they won for the first time last year. This looks like a completely different team. This looks like a group of guys that are hungry.
Yeah.
This looks like a group of guys that fight for each other. And as you said, Bray, how many times have you seen a Detroit Lions team miss 3/5 of their offensive line, guard, center, guard,
Starting cornerback.
have starting cornerback,
The spread flipped 3 points.
next man up. Yeah, we talked about that a lot as well. Like, this was the first time since 2020 that the Lions were a favorite. No, they were not. They went off as an underdog in this game. So that game, that stat still is applicable to the next time they're a favorite, probably against Seattle in a couple of weeks. But nonetheless, this looked like an NFL football team to me, and I think you have to feel real good. And, you know, I don't want to overreact to one win. This is more of a reaction to how I feel and how I felt about this team. Second half of last year, Bray, These guys were getting it together. And I just think in order to be a good team, you have to have a good structure about you. You have to have a good organization. And darn it, this team in this organization seems like it's solid. It seems like it's got a solid structure of an organization that is trickling down not only to the front office, but to the coaching staff, to the assistant coaches, to the players, to the backups, to the guys on the practice squad. And again, it's one win, but it feels like, at least to me, the first of many.
But it looked different though, Ryan and Ermanni. Like the teams that win in this league, the teams that have success, man, they're teams that when you say they got 5 guys out, or they have 4 guys out, or they have 3, or they have 5, or they have 6, it doesn't matter. That's not an excuse for them to lose ball games. Like you look at Aaron Rodgers last year when he went into Arizona Cardinals, he had no wide receivers. That wasn't an excuse. It's like, hey, by the way, we don't have wide receivers, but you know what? We're Green Bay. We'll figure it out. Good teams figure it out, and that's exactly what they did. They were missing 8 players, and then they had guys that were hurting the game. You mentioned Aidan Hutchinson, noticeably limping after the game. That's okay. We got to get this W. We got to do what we got to do. It just looked and felt different. I'm watching the game, and even when they started coming back, and I'm talking about the Commanders, I just still felt like the Lions had it. I still felt like the Lions were in control. I said, you know what? DeAndre Swift's going to make a play. You know what? Amon-Ra St. Brown's going to make a play. Like, you got guys now that you can point out to say, you know what? DJ Chark, I think, can make a play. I believe Jamal Williams, when we get inside the red zone, he's going to run hard and we'll get down there. You feel confident in saying, no, they'll be okay. That's different around here. I don't know about you guys. I've just been a Lions fan for recently, and it's different in just the recent time that I've been a Lions fan.
It's hard to watch a game. I can't explain it. When I watched them, I didn't feel like I was watching my old team. I didn't feel like, I don't even know how to react watching that game.
It's called an out-of-body experience.
Yeah, I mean it. I'm like, nah, that's not my team. No, they can't look that good.
You got to fix the brightness. Maybe it wasn't the Lions. Maybe
no way. No way they look that good.
It's funny you say that because I was watching the game with a couple of buddies, and they're like, who are these guys?
Yeah.
Who are these guys? And then obviously, it gets to within 1 score.
Yeah.
And everybody, if you're a Lions fan in the city of Detroit, everybody, here we go again, until you stop feeling that way. Right? I mean, whether it was the missed extra point, you felt like all those things that used to happen with the Lions were happening to Washington.
To somebody else.
And you were like, okay, we're going to actually win this game. And again, like I said, guys, I think this is the first of many. I feel real good about this team. I felt good about this team after last week.
Yeah, you did.
And
say
I know
that.
there were some things that again, they had to clean up. I just didn't feel... And maybe where I got last week's assessment wrong, which I cleaned up myself, was I didn't fully anticipate or expect Jalen Hurts to be as good as Jalen Hurts was. Jalen Hurts is an elite quarterback that you build your franchise around.
Maybe.
Completely, totally. At least right now, I mean, he looks like he can do the job.
Yeah,
is that fair to say?
He looks better than Trey Lance.
Well, it's fair. Oh, man, it's too soon. Too soon, man.
My point is, Carson Wentz, Kirk Cousins, Geno Smith, Mac Jones, Cooper Rush. These are not quarterbacks that you mentioned with Jalen Hurts. And I did think that the Lions got some pressure last week. They just couldn't beat the running quarterback.
Yeah, I told you they'd get him this week.
Yeah.
They're going to catch him.
They do not have to face a Jalen Hurts type quarterback, maybe even until they see Tua. And Tua's not even really a runner, to be honest with you. Thanksgiving, yeah.
Josh Allen.
So they can make some headway here over the next couple of weeks. We'll see what happens.
If they stay healthy.
Here's the thing. You mentioned that before we get to a break. You mentioned next week. This is another thing that shapes up well for the Detroit Lions. Look at their schedule. They don't face any schedule situation where they come off a short week. They already play the 4th easiest schedule. Like this week, they got Minnesota on a short week. It's a short week for Minnesota. Like that's lucky for the Detroit Lions. Like they have a schedule that is the best possible schedule for shaping the team that they want to create, the identity that they want to create, and get a little help. Man, you're watching this, and it's like, I hope Ryan and Ermanni was right when he said 10 wins. I still don't know. But Ryan, you might be on something. You predicted last year, so maybe this is another one.
I got news for you, Bray. They're going to get flexed. they are going to get flexed.
I mean, maybe so, but listen.
Explain. That word just went over my head.
In other words,
this is a betting term?
NBC, Amazon, Monday Night Football. One of them, they're able to grab a game here and there. So
I mean,
if the Lions,
everybody has been talking about it since January.
So they only have 1 o'clock games, except the 12:30 Thanksgiving Day
Every single game on the Lions schedule, other than the final game at Green Bay, is a 1 o'clock Sunday game, and of course the Thursday 12:30 game on Thanksgiving. They don't even play a 4:15 or a 4:35 game.
Yeah,
it is incredible.
They will be flexed this year.
They know when they're playing. Okay, Sunday at 1.